What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In case you're new here, my name is Irene Kadhambi, a PhD student, soon to be mom, and a natural hair enthusiast, and that's the kind of content you expect to see on this channel. If you're only interested in the hair content, then Thursday is the day for you. I'll be uploading a new hair related content every Thursday afternoon, and if you're interested in following my PhD and pregnancy journey or my life in general, then Sunday is the day for you. I'll be uploading a new video every Sunday afternoon, which might be either a story time, a vlog, or something like that. So before I start the video, I start with a disclaimer. You'll be seeing me in this natural state more often. You guys, I have no energy to put on makeup just for a video and then start wiping it off again or washing it out. So you'll be seeing this a lot with whatever will be on my head at a certain point. Don't keep track of how I'm changing my clothes. I'm not going to keep track of, oh, what was I wearing last time, blah blah blah, such things. After all, I don't even have so many clothes to change. So don't bother about all that. Focus on the content. Anyways, without wasting more time, let's get into the video. And today I'll be sharing a life testimony in form of a story. It's likely to be a little bit long because I love to narrate some of the major events that took place in my life in 2021. You can get yourself some popcorns and get comfortable. And maybe I should mention this. I've been really hesitant to share this. I've been thinking about, I'm like, do I share, do I not? And it's mostly because some people are quite judgmental. They'll be asking, like, why are you sharing personal stuff on social media? But you guys, when I was praying, when I was going through a hard time and praying, I was telling God, Lord, if you do this to me, I'm going to sing of your goodness. I'm going to tell to tell people of your goodness. And now that he has done it to me, I was hesitating just because I'm caring about what people will say. So yeah, I've decided not to care much about that and keep my end of the bargain with God. And yeah, this is me testifying of his goodness in my life. Yep, and let's get into it. So like everybody else, I started the year 2021 with a lot of hope and excitement, and for the first time ever, I even had a vision board and an action plan to accompany it. My main goals for the year were to finish my PhD, to monetize my YouTube channel, financial management so that I could save a few coins that could help me during the transitioning period, and to improve my French. So none of that was achieved. The one that I came closely to achieving was monetizing the YouTube channel, which actually I monetized. But that didn't last for long because it was monetized in mid-March, and then mid-August the AdSense account was cancelled by Google for reasons that even up to date I just speculate. So despite having a clear plan, none of my goals were achieved. What happened, you may ask? In December 2020, my roommate left to go spend some time with her family during the holidays, and she was to come back in February, March. So it meant like I lived alone for some time because she wasn't able to come back actually up to mid-May because she tested positive for COVID, and then she didn't have a resident permit when she traveled. She was using the waiting card. It's called Recipe, but I'll call it waiting card so that you understand. So it had expired. She had to apply for a visa, which took a long time. Yeah, so she came back in mid-May. So basically, I spent 5.5 months alone in total solitude because the lockdowns in France were crazy. Like, it was total lockdown. All non-essential shops closed, especially in the malls. You have to fill a certain an attestation when you want to leave the house. You're not supposed to travel, I don't remember how many kilometers from your house. So basically I was all alone completely. And from mid-February, I started having anxiety attacks. I've realized that, I don't do so well with solitude. Like, I enjoy alone time, but I like company once in a while to help distract my thoughts. So 2.5 months into living alone, things didn't go well, and I would have this sinking feeling that something bad might happen at home. And anytime I received a call, my mind would be like, yeah, there it is. So I was unsettled 24/7, and sometimes even someone asking me how I was doing, may it be through a call or a text, would just make me cry sometimes. Yeah, so that continued for some time, and I had toyed with an idea of seeing a therapist, but then I'm like, 50 euros per session, that's a lot of money. Like, I don't even have it. So I didn't see a therapist. Yeah, there was a time that I even registered, but I didn't have money to pay, so I left it at that. And then I had to look for a coping mechanism. So music, dancing in the front of the mirror alone, and comedy became my coping mechanism. And that meant none of the other work was done. I would spend like the whole day watching comedy clips on YouTube. Then I'll have some days where I'll be even struggling to get out of bed. Like, man, it was hard. So anyway, I was able to manage the anxiety a little bit, using that. And then me, my roommates came back, and it meant I had to readjust that new routine. Like, I wasn't comfortable dancing in front of the mirror in her presence. I couldn't listen to loud music like I wanted in her presence. Such things. And the anxiety started coming back. I had meltdowns, like, severally. And one day she found me just crying, and she was like, go home. You need it. Go home. I'm going to book the flight for you, and yeah, you'll be leaving in 3 days. And she really helped. So we booked our flight like today. The following day I went for the COVID test, and the third day I was gone. So I went home and spent time with my family from beginning of June to end of July. And it was amazing because, I was around the people that I was worrying about, so there was nothing to worry about anymore. And I think it was the first time I ever opened up to them, like how life here was for me. Yeah, so end of July I had to come back to France, and honestly I didn't feel like coming back. And the only thing that made me not extend my stay in Kenya was the fact that I didn't have my permit either. I had the récépissé or the waiting card, which was expiring on July 31st. And if I extended my stay beyond that, it meant I would have to apply for a visa. So I had no other option than come. So I came back, but with a goal to finish my PhD soonest possible, defend before the end of the year, and pack and go back home. I'd even told my dad to help me look for a job back in Kenya. So I came, and 3 weeks, I think about 3 weeks after I came back, I started having this bitter taste in my mouth and getting bloated after I eat. I'm like, what is that? So I googled about the bitter taste, and shock on me, it's a pregnancy symptom. That's when it hit me that actually my period had delayed for more than a week. And when periods delayed, you had done something. Yeah. So I went, bought a pregnancy test, and it confirmed it. I was pregnant. Man, I was so stressed up. I've narrated the whole story in details, like how it was when I discovered that I was pregnant. You can check the link up here, but I'll just give you a brief summary. So I was so confused, so stressed. I'm like, what am I going to do with a baby? My contract was ending end of October. I have 0 savings. So how will I take care of another human being? Like, who will even give me a job while I'm heavily pregnant, because it meant by the time I finish my PhD, definitely the pregnancy will be showing. So my mind was running wild trying to look for solutions. I'm like, yeah, I can still stick to my initial plan of going back to Kenya. And if I don't get a job, I can go stay with my parents until I give birth. And then I'm like, what about the ridicule from the villagers? How nonsense they can be, like when they realize that I came back from abroad with nothing but just pregnancy and burdening my parents to take care of me and our baby. Then I'm like, maybe I can try and stay in France. But how am I going to renew my permit without a contract? One day as I was lying on my bed, feeling sorry for myself as usual, I started reflecting on the far I have come, and I realized that even being here feels like a dream. Like I've gone through so many challenges in life, but God has always come through for me. And I felt like at this point now, I was just worrying and I wasn't even praying or anything. I was just there. Instead of, calling unto God. And then the song by Angel Bernard, Nikumbushe Wema Wako, started ringing in my head. Yeah, that song got me through a lot. Because it's like, it says, it's very easy for us to complain when things seem not to go our way, and we forget about the many good things God has done in our lives. Like the way the Israelites, after crossing the river and getting to the other side and seeing how things were, they started complaining. So I was like, oh God, I'm sorry. Like, thank you for the far that you brought me, and I trust you to get me through this too. And shortly after that, Nerea by Sauti Sol joined the chat. Nakuomba Nerea, usitoe mimba yangu we, Mungu akileta mtoto analeta sahani yake, mlete nitamlea. So I was like, yeah, maybe these guys are right. The baby will come with his own plate. I should just stop worrying. And shortly after that, Jesus, take the wheel, take it from my hands by Carrie Underwood joined the church. And from there, I started getting some peace that I couldn't even explain. So anytime I feel like the worry, I would play those songs and I would feel some peace, especially the Nikumbushe Wema Wako. So this was around mid-November. So basically, half of August, the whole of September, all of October, and half of November, I was always so stressed, always worried, always confused. I cried a lot during that period, you guys. Like, I have friends that have talked to, and in the middle of the conversation I'll just break down and cry. I just thank God I have good friends that wouldn't judge me. They'll just give me time to cry. Then I'll be like, oh, I blame this on pregnancy hormones. But honestly, it wasn't hormones, it was the stress. Anyway, when I got that peace, now I started thinking, and I started now thinking of real solutions. And the first thing now was trying to renew my permit, because I realized that I couldn't finish my PhD. And now relocating back to Kenya wasn't really an option anymore, because I don't even have a laptop of my own. I use the one from the university, which means I need to hand them back before relocating back to Kenya. So I was like, you know what, I think I have to stay here. And then I have friends who discouraged me. They're like, if you go back to Kenya, then forget about finishing this PhD. Just stick in France until you're done. Things will sort themselves out. I had friends who offered, even they're like, if it comes to money, don't worry, we'll support you here and there where we can. And yeah, that gave me hope. When it came to renewing the permit, I was trying to look for loopholes. Like, now that I don't have a contract, how can I renew my permit or apply for a such year? Such year basically is, I think in some European countries, they offer you 1 year after you finish a degree. Like if you do a degree, when you study in a country like, let's say, France, if you study there, once you're done with your studies, they give you 1 year to look for a job. If you get a job within that period, well and good, you can renew the permit. If not, then you go back to your country. So France has such a program, but to apply for it, I needed to have my degree, which I didn't have. So my roommate was she has been really, very, really, really helpful. So she was helping me research, like, loopholes and what have you. And she came across this question, like, on the internet, where someone was in the same predicament as me, I think in 2020, and the others were advising him to request his lab or his professors to write him a letter showing that he will be defending his thesis soon, and then he can use that to apply for the search year. In the process also, she noticed that for me, I qualified to get unemployment benefits from the French government because I was paying tax for the past 3 years. I was like, wow, that sounds good. So I sent an email to my supervisor requesting them to write me the letter, and it didn't even take much convincing. Like, I just explained them my situation, excluding the pregnancy, and they instructed the director of the lab to write me the letter. I was given the letter within 2 days. And then during that period also is when I was like, you know what, I'm going to try and live a day at a time and also enjoy my pregnancy. So I made this clip here that I posted on all my social media platform. Was like, let me reintroduce myself, and then was like, I'm a PhD, a soon-to-be doctor, soon-to-be mom, and a natural hair enthusiast. And that's when also I deleted my other channel, my other YouTube channel, after my AdSense account was cancelled. So I created now this channel and started uploading my old videos. I was feeling so vibrant, like hopeful again. So yeah, and then a friend of mine, an Indian friend of mine who lives in France, saw my post on social media. I had lost her contact because I lost so many of my contacts when I went to Kenya and changed my SIM card to the Kenyan one. I don't know what happened. So she saw my post and she texted me on WhatsApp to congratulate me. It was like, whew, this one is God sent. So I'm not one to stay silent. I told her about my predicament. I told her I was trying to renew my permit and also apply for the unemployment benefits. And it happened that she had applied to, because she finished her PhD in July last year. She had applied for the same, so she gave me all the guidance that I needed to apply for the unemployment benefits. I was like, wow, doors are opening. So I had booked an appointment with prefecture, which was scheduled for December 1st, while my permit was expiring on November 30th. But still, after getting all this information from this friend and gathering all the required documents, I applied for the unemployment benefits, I think around November 26th. But then, since they approved everything, but since my permit was expiring on November 30th, my application was cancelled, and they said that once I have the permit, I can reapply again. So December 1st, I went to prefecture and they're like, sorry, we don't take these applications physically anymore. You have to go and apply online. I came back, applied online. It was a very easy process. And yeah, I was just crossing fingers, hoping it will not take so long, because with the bureaucracies in France, processing a resident permit can take so long. Lucky enough, exactly 17 days later, that is on December 17, I received a notification that my application was being processed, and then they gave me a HESI valid for 3 months, that is up to mid-March. And immediately I got that, I reapplied for the unemployment benefits immediately, and I was given an appointment for January 3rd because they needed to validate my documents. Then 5 days later after that, that is on December 22nd, I got another notification that a favorable decision had been made regarding my application for the permit, and my permit would be issued soon, and they were issuing a permit for a longer period than the one that I had applied. So yeah, that happened, and I was so happy, like things were opening so fast. So January that came, I went for my appointment, they validated my documents, and they were like, they calculated whatever amount I'm supposed to be getting daily, because that is calculated based on your previous salary. And then they were like, yeah, you'll get the amount for half of December, that is from December 17th when you applied to the end on January 5th, and that was deposited on my account on January 5th. So all this time I had borrowed someone money to register for the academic year at school. I had told my dad to pay my rent. So that way I was, no food, no nothing. So, but getting this really helped. So yesterday, which is January 13th, I received another notification that my permit is ready. I should book an appointment and go pick it. You guys, the whole process for renewing my permit took only 6 weeks, whereas it normally takes so long. Like my application to renew my previous permit took 4 months. I applied on February 1st, and it came out, it took February, March, April, May. Yeah, it took 4 months. It came out in May, and I couldn't get an appointment to pick it. Like the earliest appointment was mid-August. So even before I left for Kenya, my permit was ready, but I couldn't pick it until mid-August. So everything happened so fast, and honestly, you guys, all I can say is it's God. Like within 2 months, or even less actually, all the things that I was worrying about were solved. So let's go back to when I found out that I was pregnant. So the first thing that actually came to my mind was, I don't have a social security number. That means I can't benefit from the healthcare benefits here in France. I had applied for the social security number in 2020, actually 2019. Yeah, no, 2020. So I had applied for the social security number in 2020, because when I came to France, no one told me about it. So I came to learn about it in 2020. I applied, sent all the documents that they needed, and then I didn't hear from them, and I didn't even follow up because God has really blessed me with good health. Since I came to Europe, I've gone to the hospital the first time for my clinics. Like I never gone to an hospital, I never gotten sick, so I didn't bother. But now, yeah, when I realized I was pregnant, I was like, yeah, I might need this social security number, because I'm not sure if I'm going back to Kenya or I'm staying here. So I followed it up with the help of my roommate, because at least for her, she speaks French, and I got the number. And yeah, with this number I have access to healthcare benefits, where the government pays 70% of all my medical bills, and also because of that social security number, I was able to apply for the unemployment benefits. Without that, I couldn't have applied for them. So yeah, for the first and second trimesters, I've been paying only the 30%, and then the 70% is refunded by the government. I'm just putting it in general government, but you know, there are institutions that are responsible for that. And now from the 6th month, I don't pay a thing. Like, I'm really enjoying it. I go to the lab, they just take my test, and then I leave. No paying. I go to the pharmacy, I get whatever medication I need as long as it's prescribed. No paying. I visit my midwife, it's the same. Like, I'm really enjoying it. And this will go up to, I think, 12 days after I leave the hospital. That is after giving birth. And man, you guys, like, these guys are way ahead. Like, I can't imagine, like, in Kenya, even with the NHIF, still it couldn't help that much. So yeah, then another thing, the midwife needed to declare my pregnancy to the government towards the end of first trimester. I think they say should do that before the end of the 14th week. So after my first clinic, the midwife declared my pregnancy, and yeah, automatically from the 6th month I don't pay. And then from the 2nd month, I think, after birth, I'll start getting childcare benefits. So in summary, right now I don't have to worry about anything. Like, I don't have to worry about rent, food, bills. Maybe I might have to, I need to squeeze myself a little bit so that I can buy baby stuff. But also, I'm not doing this alone. Like, we will, you know, take care of the baby together with the father. So that's really nice. I can see that I've started 2022 on a very high note. Like, towards the end of 2021, I was feeling like I was crashing, but then 2021 ended up on a very good note, and 2022 started on a very good note, and I really thank God for it all. I feel so peaceful. And even though right now I'm alone, again, my roommate left for good. If you've been here longer, you know that I'm all alone, but I'm not worried. I don't feel anxious at all. And my plan is to be talking to you guys. Like, that's why I want to do the vlogs, because when I talk to the camera, I feel like I'm not alone. So yeah. So the lessons that I've learned from 2021 are: 1, worrying doesn't solve any problem. If anything, it makes the situation worse by giving you anxiety and messing up your mental health. So instead of worrying, you should, I've learned to let Jesus take the wheel. Like, whenever I feel like anxious or worried, I'll be like, Jesus, take the wheel, take it from my hands, because I can't do this on my own. And I just feel peace. Number 2, I've learned that sometimes we might make plans, but only God knows what's best for us. Just like Jeremiah 29:11-13 says, "For I alone knows the plans I have for you, says the Lord." Blah, 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 blah. We can continue. Go read the rest. I think I've forgotten. I can't really recite it, but it's a very good verse. It might sound cliche, but it's true. I can testify on that, because remember, I came back here to finish my PhD and relocate back to Kenya. Honestly, I was tired with France because of the loneliness. It's so hard to make friends here because of language barrier. I try to learn this language, but it's so hard for me. Though right now I don't have a choice, I have to learn it. So yeah, but God was like, I'm not done with you here. You have to stay here a little bit longer. So I'm going to stick here for a while, because I think there are more job opportunities here than back home, that's for sure, especially in my field. And while here I can, try for jobs even elsewhere in Europe. I don't have to stick in France if I don't get one. Number 3, I've learned that having a support system is very important. Like, for me, my family and my friends, especially my roommates and my Kenyan friends here in Europe, have been so helpful. Like, whenever I felt lost, I would talk to them and I would feel better. They would help me find solutions. And yeah, it's been really amazing. They walked with me every step of the way. and I just keep thanking God for them. I'm like, God, thank you so much for blessing me with amazing friends. I don't know what I could have done without them. Number 4, I've learned not to be afraid to ask for help. Like, sometimes, you pray to God, and you pray that he performs a miracle, and sometimes he does. Sometimes, you might be having financial problems, and someone, or out of the blues decides to send you money. But in other instances, you might have to go ask. Like the way, in the villages back in Kenya, if you run out of salt, you can run to your neighbor and be like, hey, can you lend me some salt? If you don't do that, your neighbor will not know that you're in need of salt and bring it to you. So the same way, don't be afraid to ask for help, may it be from friends or family. And sometimes I understand, like, sometimes you're worried, like you fear that people will judge you and such things, and you don't want to be a burden. But no, just do it. Don't die alone. Like, don't sink in depression because you're fearing to ask for help. Speak out. Lesson number 4, and this is something that my mom has been saying for ages, but I think this year it's when it really sunk. She keeps on telling me, like, whenever I'm going through a hard time, she'll be like, for gold to be valuable, it has to be passed through very high temperatures, and that process is uncomfortable and painful, and you should take those hard times as, the melting phase, because you are gold, and it will not last forever. It's painful, yes, but it will not last forever, but the results will be, something magnificent, something valuable. And yeah, using that concept has really helped me. And now every time I'm going through a hard time, I'll be like, this is a melting phase. It will not last forever, but it will make me stronger and better. And I'm passing it to you too. Use that in 2022. You are gold. And the melting phase, however painful it is meant to make you stronger and more valuable. So I think that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope someone is encouraged somewhere, and I wish you all a great 2022. May God walk with you every step of your way in 2022. May it be your year of growth. May it be the year of, answered prayers, because honestly, never get tired of praying, because sometimes it might take longer for the prayers to be answered, but our God is always listening, and he answers in his own good time. So thank you so much, guys. If you're not subscribed yet, remember to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.